I had one wall, one day, and no room for mistakes. This is what I painted at the jam, and honestly, it didn't go as planned. Hey gang, what is going on? My name's S1, I'm a writer from Montreal, Canada, and last weekend I hit up the 613 Supplies Spring Graffiti Jam, surrounded by a bunch of insane artists. And I decided to go for something structured, aggressive, and super clean. I wanted something that would pop from far away, but still have a lot of detail up close. But here comes the first problem. I had planned my original piece to be in shades of grey, with a teal background. But the event organizers told me that the buff was going to be a dark grey. Crap! I can't really paint a grey piece on a grey background. Back to the drawing table I go. I redid the piece in orange and yellow tones, with a background filled in teal colored bubbles instead. So for this one, I went with a symmetrical style. Heavy arrows, strong center focus, almost like everything is exploding outward. The idea was to build the whole piece around this central energy right here. That's the anchor, everything connects back to it. Now getting back to the wall, here comes the second problem. I get to the jam and the buff is in teal. The same color as my background bubbles, what the shit, man? So I asked the organizers what's up and they tell me that their paint sprayer broke when they got there and that they had to improvise on the spot. Well, shit. I could have gone with my original gray tones plan. But these things happen and I wasn't about to let that ruin my day. So I started sketching. Getting the structure right is everything with pieces like this. If your symmetry is off, the whole thing falls apart. So I take my time here, mapping out both sides, adjusting, stepping back. You'll see me do that a lot, just checking the balance. Once the skeleton is solid, everything else becomes way easier. So for colors, I went with something that really punches. Warm tones on the letters and cooler tones in the background. So you've got that orange-red pushing forward, and the teal and blue pushing everything back. That contrast is what makes it hit. In the center, I went with Ipanema yellow. A yellow that's almost white, and just streaks of it, just to give it that explosive energy. Then I used a needle cap to add some texture here and there. Now for the fun part, the outline. I chose a bright Madrid red from NTN 94 this time. It's bright and covers like there's no tomorrow. This is where the piece really comes alive. And I made sure to make it thick around the letters and thin inside of them. That's the really cool part for me. It signals the midpoint in the piece, and all the blur starts to get in focus. Alright, let's go around and check out some of the other pieces. Here's a badass piece by Core. A crazy Wildstyle by Amon. Venus's piece. Verb's big piece. Fioke. Hevan. Szab. And Store. Now time to get this 3D thing going. I have my darkest red in the creases that are away from the light source, which is at the bottom middle of the piece. I then fade some burgundy red into my night red. I bring back the Madrid red from my outline and fume some of that over. Then it's time for some light red fading into the Madrid. And I finish it off with some bright white at the tips, and I make sure to really powder it so it flashes. For a background, I really didn't want anything too busy, just something that frames the piece. So I went with the soft cloud style, kind of floating around it. I start adding depth with shadows at the bottom of the cloud. Onto the inner cloud, that really cleaned up the outlines. And that's when it really starts to pop. I finish it off by adding shadows to a few spots in the piece where the ladders overlap each other. Small details like these right here. That's what gives it that sharp, polished look. And finally, I signed it. Let's take a final look at the pieces of the day. That Store's piece, Fern, Emel's, Core's, he added a dope little character at the end too, Crim's, I think this is Catsy, but I'm not sure. This is Amon's piece, with a character by Sener. This is Sener's piece. Zophus. Not sure about this one. That's Venus. Verb. Fioke, Hevan, Sizab, and here's mine. This is how it turned out. I'm super happy with the colors, and the symmetry came together exactly how I wanted. Jams like this are always a mix of pressure and fun. You've got limited time, people watching, but that's also what pushes you to level up. And honestly, painting outside like this, that's what it's all about. Let me know what you think of this piece in the comments, and if you'd rock these colors yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till next time, stay up,